All right, it's 3:30 p.m. on November 18th, 2024. This is the work session of the Caddo Parish Commission, now in order. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Crackman. Here. Commissioner Young, Greg Young. Commissioner Thomas. He just walked out. Commissioner John Paul Young.
Here.
Commissioner Burrell. Here. Commissioner Jones. Commissioner Gage Watts.
Present.
Commissioner Blake. Commissioner Atkins. Here. Commissioner Cawthorn. Here. Commissioner Lazarus and Commissioner Epperson. Okay, I am counting 9 of 12 commission members present, and that does constitute a quorum.
All right, at this time, I'd like to ask former Commissioner Handy Giles, who is here in the audience, to give us an invocation, and then I would like to ask Commissioner Crackman to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Everyone, please stand.
Let us pray. Father God, we thank you for another day's journey. We thank you for allowing us to come together one more time. And Father, we thank you. Let us be led by your Spirit, Father. Realize that we can't do nothing without you, Father. Help us all agree and be on one accord, Father. In the mighty name of Jesus. Father, continue to bless this commission board. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All veterans and active military members saluting during the recitation of the Pledge of Allegiance would be appropriate. Should you wish to do so, all others please recite with your hands over your hearts. Please remember our POWs and MIAs as we say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, former Commissioner Giles and Commissioner Crackman. Also, welcome to our former colleague who's here in the audience. Nice to see you, Commissioner Giles. It looks like we have no agenda additions today. Is that correct, Mr. Clerk?
That is correct.
Do we have any citizens' comments?
I have not received any, and I don't see any in the box at this time.
Former Commissioner Giles, are you here to make a public comment today? Okay, great. All right, great. And I see, and Ms. Glover, you're not making any comment today? All right, well then, we'll move on. We'll move on down the agenda. All right, I guess everything is fine. Okay, so I don't think we have any visitors, is that right? And so that brings us to administrator report. Ms. Bryant.
Good afternoon, commissioners.
Good afternoon.
We see you just a little summary of some of the issues that, not issues, but some things, how the current tax reform that's before the Senate may impact Caddo Parish. So we just want you to know that we support tax reform. We just want to make sure when the final form of the bills come out, that it is advantageous to Caddo Parish. We think that it can be, and so we'll see what the final form will be, and we'll have conversations with our delegation just to make sure our interests are considered. Also, it's that time of the year again. It's Christmas time and time for Toys for Tots. We are taking a Toys for Tots collection. We will have the ceremony December 6th at 9 o'clock right here at Government Plaza in the lobby. That is different from where we usually have it at Moffett. So hopefully you all can participate and attend that event. The October 24 financials are at your stations. In the juvenile detention update, we have 17 in detention, 3 are 17-year-old, 3 OJJ, 13 at CCC, and 482 on probation. That concludes the administration report, and we'll take any questions at this time.
All right, are there any questions for our administrator?
Can you repeat that one more time?
Commissioner Atkins, what do you want repeated?
Which part?
The whole thing, I'm sorry.
The whole thing? Okay, yes, sir. I was just saying that we sent you all a summary on Friday of, the CCC.
The juvenile update.
I thought you meant the whole report. Sorry. Juvenile detention, we have 17 in detention. 3 are 17-year-olds. 3 OJJ, 13 at CCC, 482 on probation.
All right, Commissioner Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ms. Bryant, you said you sent a summary of the tax situation on this morning, did you say?
Friday, I sent something Friday, just on the tax reform portion of the bill, how it impacts Caddo Parish.
Okay.
And,
Okay, thank you. I'll look again. Thank you.
okay, yes, sir.
Any other commissioners wish to ask our administrator a question? Okay, that brings us to communiques, commission remarks. If you have any remarks, get on the board. There is a discussion item in here. Also, no one's on the board. Commissioner Epperson, would you like to do your discussion item?
Yes, sir. I wanted to bring up discussion of resilient way. For those of you who may not be familiar with it, I think a couple of years or so ago, we dedicated a Resilient Technology Park. And I think AEP SWEPCO, or AEP, is one of the companies that's doing a project there. There's a road that's going in that's called Resilient Way, and it's my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Bryant, that the parish contributed so much to get that road put in? And how much was it, do you recall?
I think it was 2 million.
2 million to put that road in. And I think the city also, I believe it is in the city. However, for a number of years, for those of you that have been down here may be familiar that I've been trying to, and for those of you who have not, trying to get a road cut from Dawson Road from Jefferson Page out to Greenwood Road. We've had issues with flooding. We think that this will be best to open it up for economic and residential improvement and enhancement. And there's flooding. Sometimes the kids can't meet the school buses to go to school. So we needed a way to open that up. And I've been trying to get that for a number of years. However, I discussed it with the AEP persons, and they stated that because of security issues relative to the building that they're going to put there, that they didn't want no access to it, wanted to be private. So as my understanding is that if we spending public dollars, then that street should be dedicated to the public. Miss Bryant, you may know Danny Malone used to always have what they're saying, a three-pronged muster before expending parish funds. One was economic development and public purpose. I forget what the third one was. So I figure if AEP SWEPCO on a private road, they should, have gotten a private road and not ask for no dollars. And I think it's inherently unfair that they would come out with that particular issue. And if they want a private road, then I think they ought to give us our money back and buy that the private road. And we can try another route to open up Dawson Road into Greenwood Road and vice versa. So we can get some relief for those persons in there with those issues that they've been suffering for a number of years. So,
Okay. Commissioner Burrell wishes to speak. Commissioner Burrell.
Just a point of information, or clarity, I guess. Are we saying then this Resilient Way has now become a private road?
but they don't want it to go all the way through. They don't want nobody else coming on. They want to go strictly to that facility and dead end, and that stops it because they say for security purpose of the building.
But it is public up to the building? Am I understanding that?
No. The whole road, the road was funded, $2 million from the parish,
Right.
so much from the city. And it leads to the facility that AEP is building. And I wanted to get access to it from Dawson Road, tying into it, bring it to Greenwood, and they do not want that to happen.
Well, I guess
And I'm saying, you're right, I'm saying that public money has been spent,
Right.
so therefore that road should be used for the public. And if they want security issues, build them a fence or some kind of security.
I guess my question is, if that's public money that built a road, should be a public road. I've never seen a road that was built by public funds and you put a private sign on it and say private road. So that's basically what you're doing. Is that what I'm understanding?
That's what I'm saying. They don't want it to be used by no one else. They want it to go up to that facility, and that's it.
That's a problem with that. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Commissioner Cothran.
Yes, just to piggyback off of what they were just talking about. So when the parish gave them money, they didn't establish it as such, correct?
I wasn't aware of it. I'll put it that way. That they didn't want it to go any further. Want it to be used expressly for them.
Okay. Yeah, that's a
Whether
big
there's an agreement, is there a cooperative endeavor with that stipulated in it?
I'm not aware of that stipulation.
Okay. Okay.
And
One other question.
go ahead.
Second time, Mr. President.
Please go ahead, Commissioner Burrell.
To the administration, is there any other roads in our city or parish that fits the same characteristic that we call a private road? It's on green. Okay. Can you hear me now? Well, it was on green. It was already on. Okay, again, my question is, are there other roads that we've invested or the city has been invested or we both invested in that is considered a private road?
I'm not aware, Commissioner. We'll research to determine if there are any similar type roads and see what the status of that current road is.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ms. Bryant, maybe when you're looking into that, maybe you can also just evaluate the language around the cooperative endeavor agreement and determine exactly what we agreed to do and what they agreed to do in exchange for the funds, so we can all be, maybe Commissioner Epperson's already read that, I don't know, perhaps. But I think it'd be nice to know kind of what was in the cooperative endeavor agreement. I mean, of course, we all read it years ago, but we're a little behind on that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Commissioner Epperson.
Okay. Is there a cooperative endeavor? That's what I'm asking. I'm not aware of it.
I believe there is a cooperative endeavor agreement, but we'll verify. But I believe there was one we signed for that road.
Where would that be on file?
It would be in our files. I'll look to see. I can't, don't quote me that there is one. I just thought there was one.
Ms. Frazier, did you sign off on that?
Commissioner, I do not recall at this moment. I'm going to have to go and do the research as well. If I had known this was going to come up, I'd have been prepared, but I haven't looked to see where it was or what it was.
Okay. So you think you can have that by Thursday, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. Any other communiques? We're done with the discussion of this item. Okay, that brings us to President's Report. I have no President's Report today, except to remind everyone that Thursday is Mustache Day. Mr. Clerk, are you going to outfit us all?
I will bring some artificial mustaches
great.
for those who might need them.
So we're all doing some sort of facial hair or a false mustache for Prostate Health Awareness Month, and that's on Thursday. Okay, that brings us to old business.
The first item and the only item we have today is to advance the introduction of Ordinance 6477 of 2024. That's an ordinance to adopt Chapter 2, Article 5, Division 4 of the Parish Code of Ordinances relative to parish contracts to provide for the payment of a living wage by contractors with the parish and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. This item was postponed from a previous agenda in order to allow time.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Gage Watts, second by Commissioner Thomas. Commissioner Gage Watts.
I'll yield to the author.
Commissioner Greg Young, do you wish to speak?
Yes, excuse me. Thank you, Mr. President. This is something we've been working on. First came on our Economic Development Committee meeting in February of this year. So We've had exhaustive conversations about this over time, and we voted out of my committee. And I think this is a good deal for our community. It's been vetted by the administration as well as from our attorney. And I'm looking forward to an environment where the focus continues to be on working class. And just as a side note, I think we should all praise and give thanks for the space we're in. I'm always looking for silver lining, and it seems that the country has placed itself on a footing where it's making the working class people a priority. And those among us that may not have otherwise supported this ordinance, I hope that you can recognize the victory that you just won, and that we're going to start placing more emphasis on working people and their wages and their quality of life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Gregory Young. Commissioner Atkins, you're on the board.
Thank you, Mr. President. All due respect to the author, he and I have debated this already, so he knows my position on this, but I was supportive of us having a living wage for the people that worked for Ms. Bryant and the commission. But I think that this issue of how much contractors that do work for Caddo Parish pay their employees is a private matter that should be debated and negotiated between those private parties. So I'm not in favor of the parish imposing this burden upon our contractors. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner Atkins. Administrator Bryant, could you share with us and with the public your assessment of the feasibility of this ordinance and its effect on the parish and those who contract to work with the parish?
Yes, sir. Commissioners, after our legal team completed their research, they've indicated that the living wage ordinance would not apply to any contract that we actually have to bid out. It's my understanding that you're all limiting this to entities that have 15 or more, or 16 employees, at least 16 employees. When we've surveyed our contractors, a good deal of them already pay $15 an hour, and the ones that don't are being excluded because of they employ less than 16 personnel. And then also, for as the enforcement of it, we will be asking folks in our contracts to stipulate that they would be adherent to this, as well as if anyone becomes aware of any violations, they can report it to us. So the enforcement will not, that was a big concern for us, that the enforcement would create a disadvantage to us as well as could increase costs. But since the enforcement won't be as severe, we can manage that process.
Okay. Thank you very much. Commissioner Cawthorn.
Yes, as the administrator said a few minutes ago, we're talking about 16 employees that physically work within the parish that we would have contact with. The thing is, again, an employer, a contractor could actually have 100 people, but only if 14 of them worked here for the parish, they would not be affected. Am I correct?
I think this is supposed to be in total, but only the employees that work on, and correct me if I'm wrong, but only the employees that work on Caddo Parish would have to earn the 15.
Right, that's what I just said.
Okay.
And the thing is, again, for clarity, because the thing is, if you don't listen to the whole message, what you can assume is 16, if I was a contractor and had 16 people that work for me, if only 2 of them work for Caddo Parish, it does not apply to me. Okay, and the thing is, again, it's like I said, we can muddy up the water any way we choose to, but the thing is, again, is that I think a lot of due diligence have gone through that, through our legal department and also by some of the heads of the departments as well, looking at the number of people that we contract with and the salaries that are received as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Cawthorn. Commissioner Crackman.
Yeah, I like Commissioner Atkins. Don't think that we should be legislating quality of life issues and contractors' pay. Now, what our employees make is a different song and dance, but whenever we're starting to tell employers what they can and cannot pay their employees is a blatant overreach, in my opinion. And, you know, if somebody doesn't like what they make, they can go work somewhere else. And I have always worked a blue-collar job. I get it. I've had jobs that I didn't like, and I left and I went to something better where I made more or the morale was better, whatever the case. What we're trying to do is legislate, once again, quality of life and morality, which I don't think should ever be on our desk at all. We're here to protect rights, not give further rights. We're telling folks that they have a right to make X amount of dollars, and that's not right. People should give their self the opportunity to seek better for themselves. Thank you.
Commissioner Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to once again applaud the Economic Development Committee and Commissioner Gregory Young for presenting this. I don't think that it's necessarily giving people a right to make anything, Mr. President. I do, however, believe that it establishes a standard, and I think that we do have the authority to legislate a standard here in Caddo Parish. Thank you so much, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. On our next agenda, will the actual text of this ordinance be posted?
Yes.
It would be nice to be able to see what the actual words say.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. Well, that's all the discussion. We can vote.
Commissioner Burrell, thank you. And that advances with 8 in support, 3 in opposition. And that brings us to new business, where the first item, 11.1, is to consider the advancement of introduction of Ordinance 6510 of 2024. That's an ordinance to close and abandon an 80-foot wide street dedication in Section 20, Township 21 North, Range 14 West, in the parish of Caddo, and otherwise
Motion
provide.
from Commissioner Thomas, second from Commissioner Crackman. Commissioner Thomas?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll yield to either the Commissioner from District 1 or Public Works.
Commissioner Crackman, would you like to speak about this?
Yeah, I've heard no opposition to this whatsoever. I'd appreciate its passage.
Okay. Looks like we can vote.
And that motion carries with 11 in support, none in opposition, and 1 absent. And brings us now to the next item is to advance the introduction of Ordinance 6511 of 2024. That's an ordinance to increase the Caddo Parish portion of the salaries of constables and justices of the peace and otherwise providing with respect thereto.
I'm waiting for my board to clear so I can see if there's a motion.
I'm sorry,
Does anyone move to advance this? Commissioner Crackman, and a second from Commissioner Atkins. Commissioner Crackman, do you wish to speak?
Yeah, the constables, I can't remember the last year they had a raise. I think it was 2009, correct, Administrator Bryant? 2009. This is just getting them up to speed. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Crackman. I have a question. Administrator Bryant, do we pay the salaries of the constables, or is this just for the allotment of their time that's picking up litter?
No, sir, this is the actual salary. We pay
Okay.
a
And we
portion
set
of
their
it.
salaries?
So the state sets the minimum salary, but the parish can pay more than what the state sets as the minimum.
Okay, great. Great. Well, it looks like we have 2 employee raises on the agenda today. Commissioner Cothran.
My only question is that the $50 raise, how many hours do we pay them per week, per month, per?
They're paid a monthly, we pay $225, the state pays $120 for a total of $345 a month. That's what they currently make. This would give them, raise them to $445. Which is $5,300 annually.
So basically, they don't get paid per hour.
No, sir.
All right. Commissioner, that's everybody who's on here. I have a motion to amend. Commissioner Crackman, did you want to make another motion?
I think that was technical.
Okay, that looks like just a error. There is no motion to amend for the record. We can vote.
I was on the board.
Oh, I didn't see you. Commissioner Greg Young.
You know, we all come from different districts. We come from different philosophical views. But I think it's important. We all come from different districts, and we all have different philosophical views about these important topics. But I would just hope that in the time I have left on this commission, that everybody kind of at least come to a place where you know what you believe and be consistent in your beliefs. Because otherwise, we're going to continue to have chaos. If I know where you are, then I might be able to reach some accommodations with you. I might be able to move toward you in your views. But if you keep changing your views, now we just had opposition from some of my very good friends on the other side of the aisle, in opposition to the people who cut the grass, clean the restrooms, wash the floors, wash the windows, and they were opposed to a raise. And now this time they're in support of a raise for some other folk. And so I would just urge, my comrades here to be consistent in their views. I would appreciate that.
Commissioner Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'd like to remind you that on the previous issue regarding mandatory wage provided by third-party contractors to their employees, that was a third-party contractor that we were telling them what we thought how we thought they should pay their employees. In this particular case, we have a direct say over this particular issue. So it's in our bailiwick. We're responsible for it. We're not telling someone else what to do. So all due respect to some other colleagues that may view that as inconsistent, I view it as completely consistent. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner Atkins. Commissioner Blake.
I just want to reiterate what John Atkins just said. Thank you.
All right. Okay, to me it seems like we have the authority to contract with people or not contract with people, and one of the things that we could consider when we decide whether to contract with them is what they pay their workers. And if they pay their workers something that we think is inadequate to live on, then we could contract with someone who pays more with their workers. And if we announce such a policy, it might convince the parties that we contract with to pay more. But there's many ways to look at this issue. Commissioner Burrell.
Mr. President, maybe I was sleeping when this was going on, but I thought this had to do with trash pickup.
No. This is different from trash
Salary.
pickup. Didn't we give them a raise for trash pickup already?
I think you have another item to increase the hourly rate if they write citations for litter from 40 to 50. This is their annual pay, their monthly pay that they make, that the parish shares and the state shares. Right now, they make $345 a month. 225 of that is borne by the parish. The other 120 is borne by the state. And so this would increase that.
So we got two increases that we're looking at, is what you're saying.
Right. The other increase is only if they write a citation and they're out there doing the work. This is what their regular pay would be.
I guess it's slipped by me there, Mr. President. Thank you.
Commissioner Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. President, but my question was clarified. I didn't recognize that.
Okay, we
This
can
was
vote.
2 raises.
We can vote.
And that motion passes with 7 in support, 4 in opposition, and 1 absent. That will advance, and that brings us now.
Point of order. That's not my vote.
That's not.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
So 2 people want to change their votes at least?
That wasn't my vote. I apologize.
It looks like maybe we had, is that 1 or 2 people
That's me too.
saying that?
Commissioner Gage Watts and Commissioner Thomas wish to change their votes.
Okay.
I assume from no to yes?
Mine was a no.
Oh, you want to change yours to a no. So 1 wants to change to a yes, and 1 wants to change to a no.
Okay, so the final vote count would be the same, but for the record to reflect correctly, it would indicate that Victor Thomas is a yes vote and Stormy Gage Watts is a no vote. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, the record will reflect it as such.
Okay. That brings us to.
And that will bring us, I'm sorry, thank you. That'll bring us to the next item, which is to advance Resolution 77 of 2024. That is a resolution giving written public notice of the regularly scheduled meetings of the Caddo Parish Commission for the calendar year 2025 and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
All right, this is our calendar for the rest for 2025. Take a good look at it, but it'll be posted. Commissioner Gage Watts moves to advance, and seconded by Commissioner Thomas. Commissioner Gage Watts, do you wish to speak?
Thank you, Mr. President. No, my motion is to move as it is written
All right.
to Thursday.
Any in globos?
Sure. I'm not sure if we wanted to discuss any of the other ones, but I would.
Okay.
I'd like to discuss the next one.
Okay, so there's some discussion on the next one. So let's just vote on this one.
Sure.
All right, let's vote.
I'm sorry, Mr. President, I've forgotten what we're voting on.
11.3.
Yes, this is just the calendar, to advance the calendar to be for next year's meeting schedule. And that motion carries with 11 in support, none in opposition, and 1 absent, and brings us now to the consideration of advancing Resolution 78 of 2024. That is a resolution in support of Louisiana's Motion Picture Production Program, statutorily known as the Motion Picture Production Tax Credit, and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Motion by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Epperson. Commissioner Jones, do you wish to speak?
Thank you, Mr. President. I think it goes without saying how important this is for our area, for the people of this area. I want to make sure that my stance is very clear. We need to look at this not as an incentive, but an investment. I think all of us can agree that we saw a very small impact just by the presence of something different and something better for our area. We've done festivals, we've done other things in the past, but we've never done something on the level of hosted something on the level that we saw when Mr. Jackson and his team came over the summer. And I know what he's trying to bring from the film and production side is going to be even greater because our parish itself has a great story to tell. We have a beautiful landscape for film and industry here, from the beauty of our courthouse, our lakes, our natural resources, the Caddo Indians. There are so many stories that can be told just within our parish, but not so much that the people who would benefit from it, from the employment that they would have, the thousands of jobs that can be created, not just in our parish, but the entire state of Louisiana. Lieutenant Governor himself admitted the fact that Louisiana brought in $1.2 billion a year at the height of Louisiana's film industry. And I think it's very important to understand that the people are asking for us to do something great and to preserve this tax credit so that we can move our area forward. We're in the business of people. We're not in the business of politics. This should not be a political issue. It should be a people issue. And I think if we're going to think about what's going to help our area move forward, this is something great. It's something different that this generation has not seen. And if they can stop making bad decisions for 16 days and we don't have any violent crimes for 16 days straight in an event that our city has never seen, has never hosted, has never dealt with before, then I know we can do it on a consistent basis if they see something before them that gives them opportunity. If we take this away, we're saying, just as I've heard around this horseshoe before, when we've talked about other issues, that we're telling businesses and corporations that Caddo is closed for business. If we take this away, we're telling the film industry that Caddo is closed for business. But we need to send a different message. If we want people to come here to bring factories and warehouses and all that's nice, it's not a bad thing. But we have a very talented area here in Caddo Parish. I don't think we understand just how talented our people are. We have some of the best singers in the world, some of the best actors in the world. We have up-and-coming videographers who are making movies with cell phones. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, the talent and intellect that we have here. And if we're able to cultivate that right here at home in Louisiana, we keep our people from running everywhere else. Georgia has tried this, and they can testify to it, that it works. And they are bringing in millions of dollars in revenue every year Billions, really.
Thank you.
Of dollars in revenue every year, excuse me.
4.
I'm a little tired. Y'all give me some time. I'm gonna get my bearings back. But what I'm saying is we're wasting time finding ways to cut money that needs to be made in Louisiana. We need this. We cannot afford not to have it. And I think everybody needs to look at the big picture. If we stop being so political and be personal with what the people want and what they need, then we'll understand that this is necessary. It has to be done. We need to preserve this tax credit. And I haven't really spoken out a lot of some of the other bills because I understand there are some things being done that will help our state. Okay, some of the tax moves that are being made may help our state. It may bring more businesses here. It may make even a team like the New Orleans Saints more attractive because if you even go to the athletic world, free agents will consider if a state has income tax before they sign there. That is a huge deal. That's why places like Texas, obviously not the Cowboys, but places like Texas do so well with attracting athletes. I'm seriously, because they have no state tax. And that's where they tend to go. So I think that's a great thing if we're going to work towards some of these cuts. But what we can't do is cut the stuff that makes sense, all in the name of us being political. If we're in the business of people, we need to act like we're in the business of people. We need this. We can't afford to cut it. And I'm asking us all to think about what makes sense for our area and how we can benefit from this and support this measure. Thank you.
Commissioner Gage Watts.
Thank you, Mr. President. I agree almost with all of the sentiments that was stated by Commissioner Jones, except
Point of information, I love the Cowboys.
Okay,
I'm just saying they're not spending money. That's all I was trying to say about that. The free agents aren't going there.
I appreciate that for making that public announcement. So to continue, I stand in solidarity with the film industry workers in Louisiana who are concerned about proposed tax changes that could jeopardize their livelihoods. The state's film tax credit is essential for many workers, allowing them to earn a living in an industry that they love. Jason Wagensback, the president of the Film of Louisiana, emphasizes that removing this credit could devastate the local film economy and lead to thousands of job losses. The film industry supports around 10,000 jobs throughout the state of Louisiana, contributing significant revenue to local businesses. $1 billion in sales and $350 million in payroll annually. The state's growing reputation as a filming location has attracted major productions benefiting hospitality and other local sectors. If the tax credit is eliminated, there's a risk that production crews will move to other states or countries with better incentives, potentially undermining Louisiana's position as a leading filming destination. While there are discussions about their return on investment from the film tax credit, many workers point out that the relatively small annual allocation of $150 million is critical for their jobs and the state's economy. In contrast, the petrochemical industry receives much larger tax incentives, raising questions about fairness and economic support. Critics argue that the film tax credit does not yield enough revenue for the state, suggesting it may be a financial burden. Nevertheless, the film industry remains a crucial economic driver, and many workers fear the consequences of diminishing support as the debate over tax incentive continues. Meanwhile, as it has been said, our state will suffer vastly if this happens. I'm asking for your support in passing this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gage Watts. Commissioner Blake, you're next.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Do we have any information on where this is at? From my understanding, there's a lot of moving parts that's happening literally as we speak, and that right now there's some hammering out. Do we have any clarification of that? I don't feel comfortable with a resolution with something I don't have complete understanding on, and I just would like to know where this stands. I think that right now we need to see what is occurring.
I don't have a status right now, Commissioner, but you wouldn't actually be voting on this until Thursday. This is just to move it to Thursday.
Okay.
And if I may, Mr. President?
Sure.
During the committee meetings on today, they heard testimony from several individuals in the film tax industry, and they said that they would continue the conversation next month. So this could be a drawn-out process.
Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Atkins.
I'd like to delay this resolution until the first week of December in order to allow us to gain more understanding as to where the final tax codes are going to come down. To Commissioner Gage Watts' point that she just made, I mean, this is a fluid situation. There's gives and takes. You're giving here and taking there, and I just think it may be a little early to go on record until we understand what the full situation looks like. That's just my view. So I've made my motion.
Okay, there's a motion from Commissioner Atkins, seconded by Commissioner Blake to delay.
Mr. Chairman, are we still on?
We've got a motion, motion to amend on, or I suppose it's a substitute motion on the floor. Is that right, Mr. Clerk?
Wait, it's a motion to postpone.
Postpone, okay.
It's
So we have a
new
motion
but-
postponed on the board now, and we can continue the discussion speaking about that second motion. And first on the board, so Commissioner Atkins, do you want to speak further about your motion?
No, thank you.
Okay. The second for that motion is Commissioner Blake. Do you want to speak about it? Okay, then Commissioner Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. President. I did just want to say I have been keeping up with the session going on right now. I think it does go to say that unless we're going to travel to Baton Rouge, I think this is the more appropriate way for us to be able to send our opinion and exactly how we feel about it. Just right now, I see that city council members are in Baton Rouge right now speaking on the floor. So I do think that this is a much less expensive way for us to get our opinion and what we would like to see happen at the outcome of those discussions outside of us traveling to Baton Rouge. Right now, they are hearing people's opinions regarding this discussion, and I think it's important for us to express our support of the motion film tax credit, and that's why I'll be supporting this. I'll be supporting this motion, the original motion. I'll say the original resolution. It's
advance to Thursday.
It's important for us to be able to share exactly how we feel about this.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Just to be clear, so when we vote, the first vote will be on postponing for 2 further weeks, or maybe a little more because of the holiday. And if that fails, then we'll vote on the original, which is to move to Thursday. Commissioner Gage, Watts is your second, but it's a new motion. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, and I'll yield.
Commissioner Epperson?
Well, how many, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I pushed this thing twice.
Okay, well,
From the first one and.
okay, I'll go
now the
to
second
you
one.
next if it's okay with Commissioner Gage.
So I'm not sure if my machine is not working today or something.
I think Commissioner Cawthorn might be undoing it right when you turn your head.
Well, somebody
Commissioner
is
Epperson.
doing it, and I want to ask them to stop.
I call for the question on the motions.
Second.
Okay, we can vote on call for the question. Let's vote.
Give us just one moment while we make sure the computer is updated.
This takes 8, right?
Jeff, Mr. Chairman,
And this will be for the call for the question.
well, could you check that, please? Because when this first came up, I pushed to speak. It did come up here, and we've gone to a substitute motion, and I still have not been able to contribute. So
Yes.
something is wrong with our machine.
I don't see you in the queue either. I have a view of it on this screen. I don't see you in there either, but we'll check and see why.
Please do, because I pushed it twice, and it did come up to speak, and we passed the first one, now we in the second one, and still haven't been recognized.
I'm sorry about that, Commissioner.
And
I
for
didn't see
this,
you on my list.
for this vote before us right now, we have we have Commissioners Greg Young, Commissioner Burrell, and Cawthorn.
So this is calling for the question. If you want to keep talking, vote no. If you want to stop talking about this, vote yes.
Okay, all votes are cast, and it looks like it does pass with 9 in support, two in opposition. So now the next one that we will
So now we'll
call
vote on the
is the
motion to
postpone. This would postpone the resolution 78 to your December meeting. Commissioner Jones, thank you. Okay, that motion fails with 3 in support, 8 in opposition. And then that would bring us to the original motion.
All right, this is the original motion to advance to Thursday.
Correct.
Now, that allows us to continue discussion or not?
No, the discussion on this topic is over, but we'll talk about it again on Thursday if it gets advanced there.
Okay, and that motion carries with 8 in support, 3 in opposition, and 1 absent. That brings us now to the discussion of advancing Resolution 79, and that is a resolution opposing Senate Bill 2 of the 2024 Third Extraordinary Session of the Louisiana Legislature relating to restrictions on adult prosecution of juveniles and otherwise providing with respect thereto.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Thomas, second by Commissioner Jones. Commissioner Thomas?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll yield as the author.
Commissioner Gage-Watts?
Thank you, Mr. President. Y'all quick on them buttons today. So the Louisiana Senate recently approved a bill that could lead to more 14 to 16-year-olds being sentenced to adult prisons for a wider range of crimes. The vote was 28-9, and now the proposal moves to the Louisiana House and will require voter approval next year. This new amendment will allow lawmakers to set laws that let minors be tried as adults for any crime, not just the serious ones that are currently allowed. I, along with children's advocates, strongly oppose this bill, arguing that it will weaken protections for young people in our justice system. Currently, Louisiana allows specific violent crimes for minors to be prosecuted as adults, but this amendment would open the door for younger teens to face adult charges for less severe offenses. Supporters claim that the bill is necessary to address serious crimes like a recent carjacking, but those responsible were already charged as adults under this existing law. Critics argue this amendment removes the public's say in the decision about when young people should face adult charges, giving that power to lawmakers instead. Additionally, a new law that treats all 17-year-olds as adults was passed earlier this year, but data shows that many of those arrested were for nonviolent offenses. Sheriffs are now struggling to manage this change, facing challenges in complying with both state and federal regulations regarding housing younger offenders separately. In summary, this highlights concerns over expanding adult sentencing for minors, the potential erosion of youth protections, and the practical challenges facing law enforcement. I'm asking for your support on this resolution to oppose this detrimental effect on our youth justice system. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gage-Watts. Commissioner Atkins, you're next.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm always uncomfortable forwarding an item when I don't actually have the text of the resolution in front of me. However, out of respect for Commissioner Gage-Watts, I'll vote yes to forward it to Thursday, and we'll reassess at that time.
Thank you. I don't know. You might need to refresh yours. I have it.
Oh,
as a
do you?
link
Well,
online.
I didn't have it this afternoon when I printed it out.
Sure. Okay. So we can all read that in the next couple days. It looks like we're ready to vote.
Commissioner Thomas, thank you. That motion passes with 9 in support, 2 in opposition, and that will move forward to your Thursday agenda.
Thank you. Before we move on, Attorney Frazier, could you write us just a short 3 or 4 sentence memo about the likely effect of that Senate Bill 2 of 2024, so that we could all be on the same page of the way you interpret it and its effect on us and our detention centers?
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Mr. President, I'd like to offer a point of order. I want to refer to you and all my colleagues that there was an email sent that did display all 33 bills that are up for consideration and exactly how they impact Caddo Parish.
Okay,
So
great.
please refer to that in your emails.
Great point.
So we'll have to, maybe she can just cut and paste.
I will say
that one
Senate
out.
Bill 2 has had a good bit of press coverage as well.
Yes. Okay, great. The next item is 11.6.
That's
special
going to
resolution.
be considering advancing a special resolution recognizing the 110th anniversary of Stoner Hill Baptist.
Commissioner Gage Watts and Commissioner Thomas seconds.
I yield to Commissioner Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, I did get a chance to fellowship with the historic Stoner Hill Baptist Church on yesterday as they celebrated their 110th anniversary. That was presented on yesterday, and I appreciate you guys advancing it to Thursday and voting on Thursday in my absence for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are you interested in globoing the next two items along with this one?
Yes, Mr. President. I'd like to englobo
Leading the commissioner.
11 point.
Just asking.
11.7. I'd like to actually. No, I wouldn't, Mr. President.
Okay. All right. So we'll just vote on 11.6 for now. 11.6, special resolution for 110th anniversary of Stoner Hill Baptist.
And Commissioner Burrell, I'm sorry, it looks like it didn't catch yours. There we go. That's 11 in support, none in opposition, and 1 absent. That motion carries. And brings us now to the consideration of 11.7, which is a presentation of the budget from Visit Shreveport Bossier.
All right. Chair moves to advance a visit from
second.
Stacy Brown. Okay.
Mr.
No
Mr.
discussion?
President,
Go
sure,
ahead.
I do have a discussion. We don't have a date. Is she going to present at our next meeting?
Is it for Thursday?
It's for Thursday.
Visit for Thursday. All right. We can vote.
I would like to be added as a sponsor also.
Okay. And that motion carries with 11 in support, none in opposition, and 1 absent. And I had a note to add Commissioner Gage Watts as a sponsor on Thursday. Is that correct?
Yes.
Perfect. And that brings us now to the advancing of the introduction of your end-of-year appointments. And I do want to point out that because we have a lot of new members this year too, traditionally your end-of-year appointments, you have a lot of appointments that expire towards the end of the year, beginning of the next year. So we do them in a large number towards the end of the year, but we allow for a layover so that you have time to review these in a little bit more detail since there are so many of them. So this is advancing this to Thursday, but you will not vote on it Thursday. You will not vote on this until December 3rd. So if there are need for changes or edits, we have some time. So just want to make sure y'all note that.
Okay. Motion from Commissioner Epperson, second by Commissioner Gage Watts. Commissioner Epperson, do you wish to speak?
Yes, sir. I would like, if it's permissible, to ask the clerk to ask each of one of these appointees if they would submit a letter of intent as well as a bio, since we have some new commissioners, so we can get a little information about it.
Commissioner Epperson requests a letter of intent and bio from each of the applicants for board positions on this appointment list. Commissioner Cothran.
Mr. President, that was exactly what I was going to ask as well.
Commissioner Thomas.
It was the same thing that I was going to say, just providing that information, not only with these appointments, but future appointments and but other appointments in the future, if we can have a letter of intent and a resume. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. I believe we always request a resume, isn't that right?
For new appointments, reappointments, we usually don't request anything other than the intent of that person to continue serving.
Okay.
But for new appointments, we do require either a resume or a letter stating some qualifications.
Thank you. Commissioner Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to clarify that point that the clerk was just referring to. Is it okay if do reappointments need to submit fresh resumes and letters, in your view?
Yes, I was requesting that because we've got new members, but we can familiarize ourselves because all of us have to vote for them. I don't think, and oftentimes I've run into people that they didn't even know that they were being reappointed.
Fair enough. That looks like everybody who wishes to speak. Commissioner Epperson, you just spoke. You're finished. Is that right? Okay. All right, we can vote.
And it looks like that passes with 11 in support, none in opposition, and 1 absent. And that brings us to your second round of communiques and committee reports.
All right, anyone else wish to communicate something? Commissioner Cothran?
I would just like to acknowledge that I had an opportunity to attend a veterans celebration as well this past Saturday with Phi Delta Kappa, and they recognized some veterans as well. Also, I had the opportunity on last night to visit with Christian Services. They had their poor man's supper. They had over 100 people in attendance, and at the present time, they've served over 83,000 meals to date. The thing is, again, it's some great organizations, some NGOs doing some great things out there. And like I said, to hear that 83,000 plus meals have been given already, and we're not at the end of the year yet, says a lot. There's a lot of people out there that are hungry. And if you ever had an opportunity to attend the poor man's supper, a piece of bread, cornbread, and some soup, it'll make you think. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner Cothran. Commissioner Thomas?
Thank you, Mr. President. I did just want to let everyone know that the Stoner Hill Neighborhood Action Group this Saturday, November the 23rd, will be doing a Thanksgiving giveaway at 9 a.m. They will be delivering to those who live directly in the Stoner Hill neighborhood. They've asked that people outside of that immediate vicinity would please come and pick up their meals. This is in conjunction with Caddo Parish Magnet High School and the Neighborhood Action Group. They will be doing those meals at Valencia Park on, once again, this Saturday, November 23rd. Also, the Downs Group will be collecting coats and toys. Citizens can drop those off at the Lakeside Recreation Center next to Booker T. Washington High School. They will have a large event on December the 13th in which it is free admission with a toy or a coat. Once again, that's December 13th, and you can contact Ms. Downs at 318-990-6499 if you wish to donate to any of that. I did want to say that this Saturday, I did get the chance to share a really, really amazing brunch, and it was for a great cause. Myself and Commissioner Cothran was in awe as Commissioner Stormy Gates Watt's son told his story of sickle cell. It was a very, very moving story. I hope that everyone can please consider this holiday season donating to the sickle cell center that we have here in Shreveport. They've been doing a lot of different things. Not only that, that group has celebrated 50 years of helping those individuals that suffer from sickle cell anemia. So please make sure that you brush yourself up on awareness of that, and also not only awareness, but in ways that you can help those individuals. Once again, I will not be here on Thursday, so I want to say to everyone, happy Thanksgiving. I'm very thankful not only for health, for family, but I'm thankful to serve with a group of individuals who have taught me a lot. You guys, you teach me so much. Even in our opposition, I learned so much from you guys. So I'm very thankful for that. And with that, once again, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Happy Thanksgiving. Commissioner Jones?
Thank you, Mr. President. Tomorrow at 5 o'clock p.m., there's going to be a neighborhood team meeting for the Cedar Grove A.B. Palmer neighborhood team for My Community Cares. It's going to be held at Common Ground Community. That's located at 6806 Southern Avenue, and it's from 5 to 6. Also, they'll have Humana on site to talk about open enrollment for healthcare. So if that's something you need, please be sure to come by. And I encourage my colleagues just to come by. If you've not seen what My Community Cares does, this is a great opportunity to come by to Common Ground tomorrow and just see some of the many things that they're doing that are effective in our community. And so they also have some light refreshments, and Ms. Bennett always has some type of surprise for you when you get there. So you'll enjoy the opportunity if you take time to come by, and it may be something you'll like in your community. If you remember, we had them come by and speak with the Fathers on a Mission initiative a couple of weeks ago, and so I like for things to be tangible, and so this is an opportunity for you to see with your own eyes and not just take my testimony for it, that they're doing great things in the Cedar Grove area and also in the 71107 zip code as well. And I just want to take time to thank everybody for your prayers, your concerns, consideration concerning me and my family this week with my son. I am grateful that God is healing him. We still have a way to go. So continued prayers would definitely be appreciated. And it's just good to work with a team of people who are concerned beyond the horseshoe. And so I thank you all. Just kind of got to a point where, family comes first in these type of settings, and I just can't imagine, families that go through this all the time. I look up to Stormy Gage Watts in a way that I cannot express through words. She is a superwoman. For all that she shoulders and handles, to understand that she has to go through this all the time. And I only had to just really experience this for a short time. Really brought a lot of things into perspective for me. And so I've seen things on television, but if you don't experience it in real life, if you don't, you've heard about what other people have to deal with, if you don't experience that type of fear in real life, you don't understand. You don't understand what people have to face. And so I just thank God for showing his power. I thank him for his provision. I've never been ashamed of my faith, and I understand what God can do, but he showed me in a different way this past week just how powerful he is. And so, excuse me. I just want somebody to know, if you've ever doubted him, that he can do it. He can turn a situation around that looks very dark in your life. And if he can do it for me, he can do it for anybody else. And so if you're dealing with something that you're not sure about, it may not be a sick child, it could be anything in your life. It could be, how you handle representing your community. If you're in doubt that you're not a good leader, ask him to guide you. Ask him to keep you. Ask him to direct you. And it'll help you stay calm in the midst of your storm. Ask him for his peace. And I'm just grateful that you all care enough to look beyond party lines and politics to consider me and my family in this time. God's going to do a great thing in the life of my child. He's going to be great. He's going to be a world changer. And he's revealed that to me. And I'm grateful for this experience to be a part of a commission that cares. And so whether we disagree on a lot of things, y'all have shown me who you are, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And if you ever need me, please know I'll do the very best I can to be there for you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Jones. Commissioner Epperson.
Thursday, November the 21st, the Northwest Louisiana Ambassador for the Boot and Military Relations Liaison of the Bossier Chamber of Commerce will hold a meeting. We want to collaborate with a lot of veterans organizations, see what we can do to serve our military and veteran community and make sure we aren't being redundant. That'll be at 710 Benton Road, the Bossier Chamber of Commerce office, starting at 2:00 p.m. I will go out and spend the first hour there and be back in time for our meeting at 3:30. So anyone that would like to come, please come out and share it with us. In the event that your organization may want to do a donation in reference to Thanksgiving and the holidays, the Northwest Louisiana Food Bank is a good place. Two of my organizations, we voted to give contribution to them. And I think the deal is for every dollar that you give, the food bank can make that spend 10 times, and they can reach a wealth of the needy. So this would be a good contribution that we can make, you or your organization can make in behalf of the holidays. Also, please be cognizant, those of you that have never checked out the Shreveport-Bossier Veterans Memorial on Clyde Fant Parkway. It has been vandalized. and graffiti put on it. However, we did get it cleaned up in time for Veterans Day, because a lot of veterans coming into town, take photos out there. So please be cognizant, go down and check on it and keep us informed as to any graffiti or any things of that nature to that particular memorial. We spent nearly $400,000 putting that there. So we'd ask you all to make sure that you're vigilant in making sure that this doesn't happen again. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Epperson. Commissioner Burrell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to, just one thing, to recognize the end of the Louisiana State Fair, which is actually in my district. It appears they had some rainy days, but it seemed like it went along okay. I haven't heard of any reports or negative reports on it. As you know, the State Fair has a new general manager, Robert Brazil. He replaced Chris Giordano, who had been there before, and then his father before him. And I know that the year that the State Fair was shut down during COVID, we provided $300,000 in revenue recovery. So it's an economic engine for our area. So I just wanted to recognize it.
Thank you, Commissioner Burrell. Commissioner Cothran.
Real quickly, I just want to publicly thank Public Works, Tim Weave and his team for going out to a particular area. It's between District 10 and 11, but the thing is they physically went to the house and shared, certain things that was going on. Also, I would like to thank Animal Control as well, doing some really great things over there. I've been over there numerous times here lately, and the thing is that as I shared with someone, the thing is we really have to look at some type of ventilation over there, but that's a discussion for another day.
Ventilation?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it just replaced?
It was.
Like 2 years ago, we bought a whole new HVAC system there. Kevin Lawrence is nodding in agreement. Maybe essential oil diffusers.
You need something. You need something over there, whatever it is. Okay, but.
All right. Thank you, okay. Commissioner Cothran. I have a question relating to animal services also. I have been receiving a text message every morning recording some dogs barking in my district at a house that is keeping many more dogs than are allowed as a sort of maybe licensed or not licensed animal boarding place. And Animal Control has responded several times, but I keep getting notified every morning before I normally wake up about the noise that's happening in this other place. And I'm wondering what we can do to stop the dog barking before the cited party has to come in for their summons. Any ideas? Is somebody from Animal Control here?
Yeah, well, we can get that information and look at the next steps since we've been out there to see what our next steps are.
Okay, so if it's a permitting, I mean, I think it's operating more or less as a business, but I don't think that it is. I mean, it's certainly not zoned for a business. It's a residential house.
Yes, sir.
So maybe we can get zoning enforcement on that as well. Could you?
Yes, sir.
Communicate that. Okay, thank you so much.
All right, we'll get that information.
Administrator Bryant. Okay, that looks like it's all the communiques. Do we have any citizens' comments? Late arrivals? Okay, are there any motions to adjourn? Motion to adjourn. Okay, this meeting is adjourned.